Welcome into the room. You're free to just be you. Tell me your story, and we will go exploring. Let's explore together.
So, you finally go into the parole meeting, and it's granted. Is it like the movies where they stamp your folder with like the green, like you can pass go? Okay, they don't do that in the movies, but was it like the green, like granted stamp, and you saw it and you're like,
It's real for me. It was real emotional, and for most people, it is. It's going. This is time. It was. Well, I forget to mention for me was going in there. I wasn't really alone. I felt because my dad and my mom who were with me from the beginning. Ever since I was, my dad passed away in 2000, when I was in Solano, and then my mom passed away 16 months before I was released. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So it was like she was my strongest supporter.
Aww.
So when I went into for the hearing, it was just like I'm answering all the questions and they're asking me freely flowing, because it's just by this time I already started practicing spiritual principles. So it's just being honest, and they're gonna release me if they're gonna release me. If they're not, they're not. But for me, I just said a prayer to God and said, just allow them to see what you will for them to see. I'm not asking you to release me. I'm not asking you to have me denied.
You prayed for God's will?
I pray for God's will be done, and I answered everything. And when they come back after a break, oh my God, it was like their findings, and it was real emotional for me.
So they have a break. So they ask you questions, you state your case, and then you actually, do you like leave the room and go up to the hall and wait? How long do you usually have to wait for?
It's a deliberation. It's up to them, but it can be
5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever.
And it took like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And
I bet it's pin and needles.
Yeah, and when they came back, I heard the words, because I've heard them, I heard them twice before, and they said suitable, and when that happened, I'm like, I'm hearing it, but I'm not really hearing it.
Right, I bet it was surreal.
And my attorney was sitting right next to me, and she just put her hand on my shoulder, and right when she put her hand on my shoulder, everything, so I went like, and tears just started to fall down, and it was just like, wow. Yeah.
Ooh, how amazing. Okay. Whew. So, obviously you were excited.
Yes.
You were thrilled. Couldn't believe it, probably. Were you able to call your family that evening and let them know?
Yeah. As soon as I got back, the officers in the dorm, they allowed me a phone call.
And from the time that they actually grant your parole to the time that you actually get to walk out of the gate, how much time period is there between that?
That's a 5 months waiting period. And what it is the first 90 days, it's because that decision has to go before Sacramento for the main panel. Like
a higher tier, if you will,
yeah,
of the board?
Of all the commissioners and the person that heads that. And then if they don't, they review it, and it basically, if they don't find reason to deny it, they just let it go. So it goes to the next stage, and then after that, it's 120 days. It's 120 days
from the time that they grant your parole to the time that you get to leave.
At the board here in Sacramento reviews it.
Oh,
I believe. And then after that is 30 days for the governor's office. And it goes before the governor's office, and if the governor finds a reason to deny it, he will. If not, he just, he trusts the decision of his commissioners, and he lets it go through. But you don't find out you're going home, actually, until that last day.
Right.
So anything can happen. I mean, anyone can take that date away from you.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So, have you ever heard of that happening, where somebody, passed the first tier and then up the line somebody denied it and closed it down?
Several times.
Ooh, that would be rough. That
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, and I'm happy that you weren't one of those people. So you get out. What's the first thing that you do?
At the time, my ex-wife, we were married at the time still. She picked me up and my son, and because my daughter was working, and but she couldn't be there. But he'd take me to anywhere I want to eat, and
That's what I would do too. Yeah.
I went and ate, and
What'd you eat? Do you remember?
yeah,
Because I really want to know.
it's a all-American burger with fries and just
Was there cheese?
yeah, it was just cheeseburger, and
Oh, yeah.
I remember that first experience because they actually put a knife on the side of your plate, and
Wow.
I'm looking at actual I don't say hardware, but
Yeah,
silverware,
yeah.
silverware, and I'm just like,
It's been 22 years since somebody gave you a steak knife.
well, yeah,
Right? Yeah.
and it's just like, but yeah, no, it was and then my son, because in this place, it can throw like peanuts on the floor and stuff like that. So my son's, he have a can of peanuts, and I see him, and the floor was clean when we sat down. And I see my son, he gets some and he just throws them on the floor. I stop, like a little shocked, like, and my ex-wife, she sees my reaction, and she tells me, no, they actually do that here.
Yes.
They usually have a bunch of
It's allowed.
peanuts. Yeah, it's allowed. I'm
Yeah.
like, I was say, son, we
Yeah.
don't do that. No.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny. I remember that right now. Just
That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. So you went in to jail, prison, 1991. You come out 2013. Was there a little bit of a shock there, a little culture shock? And
I smile and laugh because and I remember it's so 4 years ago, but it was a big old shock. I mean, it's like smartphones, just so many different. Using the sink, looking for the knobs. There'd be no knobs, and then you realize, okay, that's a little sensor. You just go around there, and then trying to keep it on. Well, it was like the
I don't mean
struggle.
to smell that.
Yeah,
Babe.
no,
I
no,
felt
yeah.
that too, though. Yeah,
No,
I bet that would totally be a shock.
Before actually I got my car, I was walking, taking buses, light rails, and crossing the street. You hit the button to cross, and it comes on, poof, and it starts beeping. But then you start seeing a flashing sign that's like stop. I mean, like it's saying go, but you're not sure what it is. Because I remember before I got locked up, it was either walk or don't walk. Yeah. But when you see that, it's like, so I paused for a minute and I waited for somebody. Actually, that first time, waited for somebody just to cross the street
To go first?
and I got it because it's a countdown. And now it's a countdown. Okay, so I got that much time to make it across. All right, cool. Because I don't want to break no rules. So I'm not trying to jaywalk or nothing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And you got the beep. Yeah.
It's all kinds of different like little things, but
Fashion,
yeah,
music.
yeah. Well, I mean, we had music when I was in there,
Yeah.
but it's just like
So you're able to kind of keep up on that.
yeah. But at the
Okay.
same time, what helped me was I had the office services, so it's like I got IC3 certified. So for that, we're learning like smartphones, laptops. I was able to key in 42 net words a minute before I got Microsoft certified. And it's just, so like technology, I was kind of up with, but it's constantly changing. But at the same time, it's just actually seeing this stuff and experiencing it. It's a whole different
Right.
thing.
Did you have Facebook when you
No.
were in prison?
No,
So
well, I
that
had
was new
no.
too.
Yeah,
No
it took me.
social media.
I
Yeah.
mean, now it's just like I got 2 different accounts on Facebook. One's like just for my family and like friends. I hardly ever go on that one so much. And I got the other one. It's like 5,000 friends, and but it's just, but it's Facebook for me. I was skeptical going in because I didn't want no one to know my business. When I first got out, and I was like, and it became a form of communicating with people. And then once I got over that barrier, it's like, I mean, I woke up and I started my second account. It was more like about my recovery, where I'm at today and stuff I'm doing. I was waking up with like 100 something friend requests, and it's just like I'm just accepting people because I didn't know no better. I mean, for the most part, I mean, today I'm more selective. I'm just accepting.
Bring it.
And then it got to a point where it's just like I had to be careful who I accept. You know what I mean? Because it's like a few people kind of, I don't know.
Dial back a little bit.
Few French fries sort of happen, meal.
Well, and I think we all know a few people like that.
Yeah.
Or met them. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a perfect bill of health, but I mean, for the most part, it's just I usually think before I comment.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're a rarity. You're a rarity for sure. Then on Facebook.
I got filters.
So how long did it take you to kind of get back into the swing of things as far as, okay, I'm going to go get a job and, X, Y, and Z? Was that pretty quick after you came out, or did you give yourself, a little time before you jumped back into society?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, before we parole, we have parole plans for the most part.
Okay.
It's like the area we go, like for me, it was my parole plans, including looking up, having my family look up meetings, come out. I'm in a program in Narcotics Anonymous. Mm-hmm. So like, just like we're different meetings, what times and so forth. Mm-hmm. It's the same time, the bus schedules, because I was going to have a car or nothing like that. We're getting out. And and jobs, potential jobs and so forth. And not the services, we learned job training and so forth, applications.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Was it hard to find a job?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. I mean, for the most part, because when I go to interview, I have to explain what I was arrested for, and I say 187, Penal Code 187, and 186.22, street gang enhancement. Mm-hmm. And some of them don't know like 187 is. I mean, it's quite common, like on the streets or like in rap, they know what that means or symbolizes. But it was like I've seen murder, and then. For me, it's just like when I was incarcerated I studied psychology for 6 years while I was locked up, and it was behavioral psychology, cognitive psychology, just to understand why I was doing the things I was doing and understand different people.
Good for you.
And like reading body language, it's a sense of survival in prison. So it's like I'm saying, what I've been charged with to these managers and supervisors, and I see the reaction. The eyes, everything, and I'm like,
just shut down.
Yeah, so I mean, after the first, it didn't take long for me to learn, but after that first interview, it was like when I say that, I take like a deep breath, just about to say that, and I go, because that's like getting like a salesman trying to get your foot in the door,
right?
And you want to get in,
just trying to get a chance.
So I'm telling them I was charged with this, but this is what I'm doing today. This is where I'm at. This is what I've learned from that person no more and so forth. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And how long have you been out now?
I've been out over 4 years, since July 11th.
Congratulations. And what are you doing now? How's life, and where are you at, and how are you feeling?
I'm blessed. I mean, I've had the same job I work at for over 3 years. I'm in a beautiful relationship with a beautiful woman. Who I love, and we spend a lot of time together. We do different things. I'm able to experience. She wants to teach me the different experiences and so forth. So we go different. Okay, it's good experiences, and I'm very happy. But at the same time, I'm also a volunteer facilitator for a nonprofit youth diversion group, which we work with at-risk teens. Basically, the same teens that were that I was.
That you once were, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm able to help them. And then
that's cool.
The same classes I had to take when I got the DUI high-speed chase, I became an instructor for juvenile alcohol and drug education.
Oh my gosh!
And I was able to share my experience with the youth there. Also add a little more as far as external triggers and internal triggers, trying to help.
That's a beautiful circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. For me, it's like when I'm doing all this, it's like it's God. It has nothing to do with me. It's all. I mean, it's just
the best advice that you're going to get from anybody who is somebody who knows what you're talking about, or has been there and can say, hey, don't do this. I did. And let me tell you where it got me. Joseph, what do you want to say on this subject? What's kind of, your final thought that you would like to tell everybody maybe about, the stigma or any of that? What would you like to say?
Well, it's difficult for me to say. I mean, for the most part, one thing I learned is not everyone who appears as your enemy is necessarily your enemy, and not everyone who appears as your friend is necessarily your friend. You know what I mean? It's like me. I don't go so much by words; I go by actions. And when if someone's talk lines up with their walk, so to speak, you know what I mean? That's what I'm more receptive towards. And I don't have to agree or like them or like what they're doing, but the thing is, I can respect that. And like for me, it's just about giving back. It's about making life better. I mean, not just for myself, but everyone around me, and setting a better example. I mean, because the kids are always watching, youth are always watching. I was always real observant, and that's just for me, it's just that's what it comes down to, about giving back. If anyone that knows me, that's basically where I'm at, and if people are gonna have some type of stigmatism, then examine that for the most part. I'm not saying don't have that, because I mean you might be right, because not everybody's gonna want to change. But for me, it's just like I'd rather have someone that watches me, before they actually include me in their circle or so forth. And if it lines up and so forth, then yeah. But I'm just too happy just being me, so I'm not really trying to like.
Living life.
Yeah, that's all
great.
I'm doing.
Well, and it sounds like you are doing an amazing job. Joseph, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you. I celebrate your story. It's one that is always close to our hearts, because it's a story of trial and triumph. And you're doing a great job, and you're taking those really rough experiences you had, and you're putting it back into the world as experience and knowledge and love. And love is exactly what we wish you for you and yours and your path.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Let's explore.